Good afternoon, class. So it's me again, Sir Dari. And this afternoon, we will continue on our discussion in terms of this time creating your problem statement. So let me just put my earphone. Okay. One important part in doing your research is a problem statement. So you have to clearly articulate what the problem of your study is, so as your audience would be able to see and find out what you are looking for. So let me just share my screen again to all of you. Share. Okay, so this time we'll review on your research title. It must be interesting, feasible, research worthy. It must add to the new body of knowledge. So these are important factors to consider in your research title. That's why some of the research titles that you have submitted, I edited it accordingly to your interest, accordingly if it's possible to be able to conduct research on it. And if it's research worthy, that's very important, that hopefully you may be able to pass, let's say, international conferences, and it must add to the new body of knowledge. It must be something new. Okay, it must not be broad or too narrow in terms of creating a research. Now, in starting your research, it's very important to what do you think are the issues and challenges that confront our learner today? Or, for example, this research is about learners. Okay, so let's say your topic, what do you think are the issues and challenges that confront students today in the use of mobile phones? Ano ba yung mga issues of, let's say, I just approved a working title about student preferences of uh, student preferences of uh, senior high school students as to their communication devices. Why iPhones? So, what are the issues behind the usage of iPhones, and what are the challenges? Issue is that maybe number one, it's expensive. Number two, it is only for probably the middle class or the rich young people, and the challenges. So you can start doing this one as issues and challenges alongside with what you're doing already. So how should we help? Okay, let's say how should we help? For example, ito papalitan ko lang yung learners because this particular research is all about learners. So how should we help, let's say, iPhone users solve the issues and challenges? So may solutions ka dyan. And going back, yung research topic ninyo before the title, okay? So nagawa na natin to. I asked you to think about something okay, you're interested with, and I think nagawa na to. So we'll skip on this one. And you already did the 10-3-1 activity of your topic, and not the topic but the title itself using Google Scholar. Okay, your title must be catchy, interesting, relevant to national, international audiences. But later on, yung mga ibang titles, for example, in St. Patrick's School of Quezon City, medyo babaguhin natin yun later on if we're going to be able to present it in an international conference. Let's say, uh, in the senior high school in senior high school Philippines. So para mas wider yung scope, pero pagdating dun sa scope and delimitation, it would only focus on St. Patrick's School of Quezon City. So the language should be universally be understandable, and set the first letter of each word in uppercase, and do not use title by scope or the broad titles. So the title of the research proposal is very important because it is reflective of the research problem, which I guess hopefully you have created already, and who the respondents will be. Proposal titles are not final. Well, those are working titles. Keep it short and very simple. So as it so as the audience who will be reading your paper would be able to appreciate and understand it. Here is the sample of, I guess, the format for our paper, the proposal stage. You have the title page, the table of contents. We are slowly beginning to write, or you're slowly beginning to write your chapter one, which is the problem. So this is usually in the future tense. And the chapter would include the following. So the introduction, ayan, unti-unti na natin ginagawa yung introduction ninyo, the background of the study, the statement of the problem, which you are going to be able to do in this discussion. You're not going to be able to do the hypothesis because that would only be for quantitative, the significance of the study, the scope and the limitation, definition of terms, itong significance, scope, and the limitation, definition of terms, pwede nating balikan later on yan. Then the chapter 2, which is the, medyo mahirap na part, the review of related literature, written again in the future tense. So I will be asking you of an activity to look for 20 journal articles or more. Then you're going to be able to table that. I'll be giving you the format. And later on, you have to transfer that into paragraph form para dito sa chapter 2. So at the end of your review for related literature is a summary of your RRL. And you would have your theoretical conceptual framework, which we're going to talk about very soon. Chapter 3 is your methodology. This would include yung research design nyo, but eventually, unti-unti, nakikilala nyo na yung research design nyo. Case study, phenomenological ba yan, ethnography, or grounded theory. Locale of the study, I think that would be seen already in your purpose statement or even your problem statement, in your introduction. The participants, okay? Itong instruments na to, anong gagamitin mo, but most likely, you are going to be author-specific. So, sino yung author na ginamit mo? Data gathering mo, data analysis, and ethical considerations. So, that's just chapters 1, 2, and 3. That would be for the midterms. Hopefully, matapos natin to before we get to proceed with the remaining chapters, which is chapter 4 and 5. So medyo nakakaba na yan because you can already see the meat of your research when you have completed chapters 1, 2, and 3. Kaya again, let me repeat this one. Don't jump immediately with chapter 3 kasi ginagawa pa lang natin yung chapter 1 natin. Because some of you are so worried about your locale of the study, the participants, hindi pa nga nagagawa yung introduction, nag-worry ka agad of interviewing people. So isa-isa lang tayo. And this time, an introduction. So you will slowly do this one. So in your introduction, the background of the study. So in your introduction, there's a 5-paragraph format which we're going to be able to do. I need to see the context, the content, the contrast. I think I made mention of this discussion in a previous lecture, okay, on the principles of qualitative research design, problem statement, purpose statement, and the research problem. So the aim, the approach, and the background. Huwag niyong kakalimutan nito, that should be included. The issues, latest development, and trends, and you need to put there 3 to 4 citations. Naalala niyo dun sa working title, di ba, I've asked you for an introduction. Ito yun. Ito yung parang backgrounder doon sa working title ninyo. But I must see the 3 to 4 citations. May references yun. Okay? So you will be doing that one, the introduction and the background. Okay? So this will take some time for you to be able to do this one, but I think 3 activities that you're going to be able to do at the end of this discussion, yung introduction mo, the background mo, and your problem statement. So this is an example, excuse me, of an opening paragraph. Study about child development, parenting culture. You would notice here in each of the sentences, nakakategorize siya according to the context, content, contrast, aim, and approach. Okay? For example, yung content would be parenting style is a well-established influence on child development. Bornstein 2003. Okay? So that's a context yung pahapyaw. And if you go deeper, context sa content naman would be ito yung mas malalim na explanation of the study itself. The third sentence here, normally in a contrast, maglalagay kayo ng word however. This is the one that I was telling you before, that you must be able to put here somewhat a unique idea or information about your study in different of the other sources that you have conducted or you have seen in your research. And the fourth one would be the aim. Ito, the aim of the current study was to examine blah, 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 and others. And the last one would be the purpose. The study aimed parenting and style and child outcomes within a community of Somali immigrants in the northern eastern United States. So that's how you do your 5 sentence or the 5 paragraph format. Again, I repeat, context, content, contrast, aim, and the approach. Yung approach, madali lang yan. Anong gagamitin mo? Qualitative ka ba? But anong klaseng qualitative? Okay? So you have to be specific yung kung saan yung location, participants, and place mo. So the 5 basic pieces of information, usually in order: the general topic, the general statement, the statement of the literature is missing. Okay, yan yung contrast, the aim of the study, and a general statement of the study approach. So huwag niyong kakalimutan yan. I would usually check that in the introduction. Now, you have to be able to do now your statement of the problem. So, sa statement of the problem, ano lang to statement nga. It's like 1 paragraph. So you're going to be able to remove yung nakalagay general problem. So makikita lang doon, it's like a paragraph. The problem of the study is, so you go directly, ano ba yung problema ng study mo? The problem of the study is, uh, the uh, the problem of the study is to 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 explore, let's say, the most preferred uh, communication devices of senior high school students in St. Patrick's School of Quezon City. So you go directly with the problem. Then the specific problem, you have to be able to look for a citation or a number that would substantiate your problem. Parang sinasabi dito, patotohanan, uh, uh, um, patotohanan mo yung sinabi mo sa problem na yon. You can quote one reference or citation. It's somewhat like answering, okay, indirectly your general problem. The third would be, ito na yung purpose statement ninyo. Okay? So the purpose statement, yung ginawa nyo before, okay, ilalagay nyo na dyan yung purpose statement ninyo. The purpose of this qualitative case study is to blah, 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 blah. Then the fourth sentence in the paragraph, the statement of problem would be, the problem of the study will be answered by the following research questions. So yung main research questions mo, number 1, huwag mo lalagay main research question, lalagay mo number 1, number 2, number 3, or number 4. So that is your statement of the problem. So again, ang gagawin nyo dito after this presentation is you start to write it already, okay? But most likely by mga Thursday or Friday activity nyo na to, that you have to be able to do now, okay? Your introduction, your background, and the statement of the problem. So I'll be giving you enough time to be able to do that, pero maging masipag na kayo kasi medyo nagpa-pile up na yung mga gagawin niyo for research. Okay? So again, please be able to do the 3 important things: your introduction, the background, the statement of the problem. So let's proceed. Doon sa paper mo rin, sa chapter 3 would just be the significance of the study. Pero ito, I will ask you to do this later on. Okay? To the student ba yan, to the teachers, the Department of Education, to specific people. Okay? Includes potential contributions of the study, theory, and practice. Okay? Examples of contributions are as follows: filling a research gap, validation of existing research findings, application of new methodologies. And the scope and limitations, yung boundary ng research ninyo, kung hanggang saan lang. Okay? Limitations, yung nature coverage, location, time frame, the variables, or wala nga tayong variables, kundi yung categories that nagagamitin nyo hanggang saan lang. Applicability of generalization from the study. Anticipated weaknesses of the study, lalagay mo rin doon. Limitations must contain a description of active measures done in order to lessen the influence of anticipated weakness of the study. Sana naintindihan. Okay? But it boils down and telling you na ilagay nyo dito yung mga nakikita nyo mga limitations. And later on, you're going to be able to put the definition of terms. Okay? Yung mga foreign terms, okay, terms that is difficult to understand. Okay? And you have the review of related literature, which you're going to be able to do again later on. Yung activity niyo na 20 or more journal articles, itatable nyo yun. So we'll be able to give you the format later on. Wala lang sa akin kasi dito, but ito, I'm gonna give you the sample. Okay? Yan yung gagawin ninyo. So ite-table ninyo yung 20 journal articles in this way. So I'm going to give this one soon. So ano yung title, yung kunyari, journal number 1 or thesis dissertation number 1, ano yung title, author, source niya, at categories ba yan, variables, theoretical, etc. So dami yan, 20 yan, but you're going to be able to submit ano yan, chop-chopin natin yan. Kunyari, 5 muna, 5, 10, 5, 5, 5, and 5. So apat. Okay? Very exciting, no? So, okay. Let me just adjust it kasi ang dami kong files. And yes, in your RL, you should have at least 20 empirical references or more. Why 20 or more? Syempre, later on, because you need to be able to have, you know, a more, you have to make your research really believable. And you have to be able to prove your point. And the only way to do that is through your literature, excuse me, and of course, the answers to the research question of your study. So you have to end the RRL with the synthesis, okay? And all references must be properly cited using a prescribed format or style. In our case, we will be using the APA. So I'm ending my discussion on this one. So the output for this um, session would be, again, tatlo ah. You have to do now your introduction, okay, composing of the three C's: context, content, contrast, the aim, and the purpose. Yung background ninyo, you have to do your background. And the third one, you have to do your problem statement. So again, this is Sir Dari, and I'll be seeing you. Good luck and happy writing in terms of writing your research. I'm going to see you very soon. Thank you. Let me just stop share.